Yeah. This is a touchy one. Like we have a lot of different conversations, and we normally don't really come for anybody like this. I don't know. We kind of came for Avengers. We came for Square Enix, but they
They
deserve
had
it.
it coming. They had it coming.
They deserved it. And honestly, I feel like this group may have it coming as well. And
They've had it coming for a while, apparently.
there's some things they could do differently that they did not do, and that is what we are going to discuss. That is where we are. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, we thank you for joining us. We are Grown A Geeks. Welcome to another episode of Admin Chat. We are here. I am your host, Sam. We have Heroic Hat Man down below me. That is David Cook. Joining me is Brent. That is the wonderful. He's the host of Gag on These Balls, but he's going to be joining us here today. He's also been on a couple.
Still not a fan of that name.
Admin. It's fantastic. Gag on These balls. Let's talk.
I was a fan of the name
these
till I had to
sports
explain
balls.
it to my grandmother. What my podcast name was.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, but hey, when you explained it, what did she say?
She thought it was hilarious,
There
but
you
she
go.
couldn't believe that
Okay.
her grandson
All right.
was.
Look,
Thinking
I
like
am
that.
fine. I'm fine being the minority. Like, if it works, it works.
There
I'm
you
just
go.
like,
Grandma
man,
was okay. If Grandma got a chuckle out of it, then
If grandma,
there
I
we
mean,
go.
no, trust me, the fucking name is funny, but I'm just like, man. But if grandma laughing, I'm with it. If she like it, I love it. Whatever.
You know, and I mean, honestly, that's really what it is. It was just a play on words. When we created this name, what, 4.5 years ago,
Yeah.
Grown A Geeks, like, we didn't even realize that GAG was going to be the acronym for it at the time. I think when we first started trying to do some videos, we decided they were going to be called Gag Reels.
Yeah.
And that was the first time we used the play on words. And fast forward some years later, and we're talking about, we've got two admins having a whole podcast where they're talking about sports and talking about sports ball and, you know, that kind of stuff. And we now have GAG, Grown A Geeks, talking about all the different sports ball games. So Gag on These balls. It's fantastic. But yeah, we've got Brent's here with us, David's here with us, I'm here, and we are here to talk about Nintendo.
You knew it was coming. Let's go. Let's do it.
Nintendo.
David's
All right.
first love. How about it?
All right. Actually, real talk. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. So before I go in, and I'm gonna leave this to your discretion. How filthy mouth can I get here? Because I got some choice words.
We got an 18 plus rating. You know what I'm saying?
Bet. Say
Have a
less.
disclaimer, so have fun.
It's 18 plus on the Evite.
Okay.
know.
Bet. Say less.
You've heard some of the things me and Tony have said, so you should
Say
be
less. All right. Go ahead, Sam. Keep on building up so I
So-
can go in.
Nintendo,
Is smoking some cock.
apparently, because
Roasting wheat.
though
They
they
smoking
are
that
one
dick.
of the they are one of the greats. They're one of the originators. They've been around since gaming began. And sometimes that just ain't enough. You know, you get too big for your britches, you start to just really not give a shit about the people that support you and the people that come out. And, you know, you make this fantastic product and you want people to enjoy your product. But then when they find a way to enjoy your product, you're like, hey, you can't enjoy it like that. Don't tell me how to enjoy the thing that I found. You made it. I went out. I bought it. I paid for it. It's mine. And I enjoy it. And maybe I want to enjoy it with some other people. Maybe there's a tournament that I want to join into.
all right.
Maybe I want to go play in this tournament.
All right. Okay.
Now, in the midst of the pandemic.
Nah, tag me in. Let me paint the picture. Let me paint the picture right
David,
now. Let me paint the picture.
Break it down
All
for
right.
the people at home and
So,
explain exactly what is going on.
Before we get into that, we gotta lay we gotta make some notes real quick, and I need y'all to take some notes, and we're gonna refer to those later. This is important. All right, this is gonna be on the test. Now, Super Smash Brothers Melee, right?
Melee.
When did
Back to the
Melee come out?
GameCube.
When did Melee come
Melee
out?
is what,
It's-
20 years
Melee's
old?
like 20
It's 20 years
goddamn
old.
years old right now. right?
25. My kids ain't
25.
even 25. They
Yeah.
like 22, 19.
Let me just hold on. Just once. I'm gonna get the date itself up.
Oh, you tell me what you
Uh,
need pulled up. You keep on. I
oh
know.
shit. No, yeah, it's actually like fucking like 19, 20 years. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
getting.
it had a recent birthday. I shared it in group.
Oh shit. Actually, fucking damn. The age is sitting in. It's setting in. Hold up.
David's gray hairs are coming in, folks.
Okay. So of course, back then in what year was that? 2001. Shit.
So
Back in
Super
2000.
Smash Brothers is 21 years old.
Yes.
Super Smash Brothers Melee is 19 years old.
Yes.
Super Smash Brothers Brawl is 12 years old.
Yes.
And there is a 6-year-old Super Smash Brothers.
Just call it Super Smash Brothers 4.
Yeah, for the Wii. That is 6 years old.
Yes. And then you have current day Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, which is only about 2 years old. Actually, it just passed its 2-year anniversary.
Yep,
So yeah,
mark. 2018.
2 years. 2 years. All great games. All of them are great in their own special way. I'm looking at you, Brawl. But Melee is one of those that can be considered one of the greats. I don't personally believe that myself. I believe that Melee is an irrehensible, broken piece of shit, but it's still fun to watch and play regardless. And when a community of like-minded people come together and they enjoy the same thing, then a lot of enjoyment can be had with the said thing.
Okay.
So in this particular case, a lot of people really love Melee. So much, in fact, that they're willing to compete against each other in tournaments.
Okay.
Just to enjoy the games. A lot of times for money, but at the same time, what tournament doesn't involve money?
Apparently,
None
the
of them.
Smash Brothers tournament, because if I'm not mistaken, I've seen a lot of tournaments where like Street Fighter tournament has like a cash prize, and Soul Calibur tournament has a cash prize, and the Smash Brothers tournament has a fucking controller.
No, so we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into
just
that.
saying.
That's important. All right, so
But continue.
Melee has been like, as far as the Smash FGC community has been, Melee has been a staple. Melee has been through it all.
FGC, that would be fighting game community.
That's it.
Okay.
So it's Melee has been one of the games that's been through it all. It's been through the Evo controversies. It's been through just being overall hated because of the people that play it. Leffen, I'm talking about you. It's a lot of salt in here.
Got your water. We all got your juice handy.
Yeah.
Let's take a sip.
But that aside, Melee is loved by a lot of people. Melee is played by a lot of people.
Okay.
So now let's fast forward to November 19th. This is about a couple weeks away from an annual tournament called the Big House. Big House is a big Smash tournament. It usually covers like the most recent Smash and then Melee, because of course Melee. Sometimes 64 as well. You still got people that love to play 64 competitively. It's great. So November 19, 2020, Big House at the Big House SSB tweeted this out. The Big House is broken to share that we have received a cease and desist from Nintendo of America Incorporated to cancel our upcoming online event. We were informed we do not have permission to host or broadcast the event, primarily due to the usage of Slippy. Sadly, all of our competitions are affected. We are forced to comply with the order and cancel the Big House Online for Melee and Ultimate. Refund information will be sent shortly. We apologize to all those impacted. Now, you may be asking yourself, what in the hell is Slippy?
Slippy, that sounds like a character from a video game.
Star
Yes.
Fox, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, but that's not the kind of Slippy that we're talking about. So, Slippy is a mod for the Dolphin emulator that allows you to play Super Smash Bros. Melee online with other people with rollback netcode. Now, rollback netcode is important because rollback netcode in something like a fighting game is really important because it's essentially like playing next to a real person on a couch. A lot of fighting games should have it. A lot of them don't, but a lot of them should. Rollback netcode is considered the end all be all and should be the standard for fighting games. Now, normally if you're in an in-person fighting game tournament or a Smash tournament, rollback doesn't really apply there because you're sitting right next to your opponent, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Enter 2020 and the myriad of problems that we've had in 2020. Most of all, COVID-19.
Okay.
So you would think that
in order to remain safe and host a tournament
online,
makes perfect sense to me.
Makes perfect sense to you, right? Now, of course, like normally I would say that this wouldn't be the case for Smash Ultimate because it's on the Switch. It's on the newest like handheld home console from Nintendo, right? So it should have good. No, online Ultimate Online is dog shit. It's bad. It's real bad. Oh, it's bad. Oh, it's bad. Oh god. I was at first I was wondering why they didn't put Avengers on the Switch because it would sell like hotcakes. I am glad they didn't put Avengers on the Switch because if I had to play Avengers online with that shitty ass online service, holy fuck, I would have threw my Switch into a wall. Oh my god, it's bad. Even like because basically instead of rollback netcode, a lot of the games that use the online service do peer-to-peer. And if you're playing peer-to-peer against somebody, if you're using a wired connection against somebody who's using a Wi-Fi connection, you're at the whim of that Wi-Fi connection. Yeah. So if
network's only as fast as the slowest connection.
Exactly. So if Lil Timmy's out in the woods with his Bell South Wi-Fi, then congratulations, you're playing a PowerPoint presentation. So Slippy made it easy for Melee to be played online. And it works. It's really good. I played it. I wish that this was the standard, but it's not. Now, Nintendo, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Nintendo does have the right to protect their intellectual property. And before this, Nintendo's usually pretty buddy with the Smash community, right? They like to say that they are. I would think they are. I would think they would be, right?
Because you're building their product and their brand for them and enhancing the product that they have already put out. And making even their old stuff still extremely high in value. Because buying Nintendo stuff, no matter how old, still expensive as shit.
Yes, so you would think as much as the Smash community has been supporting Nintendo for years and years and years, at least 20, right? You would think that Nintendo would be so fine with just like giving support back to the community, right? No. Fast forward to November 24th, 2020, a twit longer put out by Anonymous Smasher. Anonymous Smasher. Because actually, I know who wrote
Anonymous
this.
Smasher, continue.
I know who it is, but I'm not going to say. But just know that I know. So, I'm going to try my best to try to condense this down.
Spark note, basically.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of this needs to be read in its entirety for full effect. So I'm going to do my best. Just bear with me. So I'm going to skip past this forward here. It's basically saying that this was written months prior to Nintendo sending the C&D to Big House. It wasn't written in the context in mind, and obviously this is anonymous for obvious reasons. They want to point out that what I write below does not just include Melee. What I'm about to describe applies to Smash 4, Ultimate, and even Brawl, as well. All Smash scenes have been held back by Nintendo's actions. For the longest time, it has been known that Nintendo wanted to avoid supporting the Smash esports scene in a way that helps us grow past the grassroots level. Nintendo is the entity that, for cultural or financial reasons, has simply chosen not to get involved with esports with Smash, at least not on the level that publishers get involved with most major esports. We've heard quotes from top executives at Nintendo many times about their disinterest in competitive gaming. We accept this because this is their intellectual property and they can have whatever vision they see fit. But however, Nintendo's stance feels less innocent when you understand that they deliberately prevent other entities from helping our scene through various actions or inactions. Furthermore, these acts have gone on whilst they're stamping their names on our grassroots events or inviting a few of our personalities to their events. We regularly get a smidgen of hope that they're taking steps in the right directions, but no significant changes has ever taken place. They directly benefit from the community's existence while providing relatively little support and taking actions that hurt our scene. Exactly. This note is written to shed light on the different ways that Nintendo has stopped the scene from growing. As a part of this community, you deserve to know what many top players and influencers in the Smash scene have known for years. The only reason I speak on this now is because I feel we are now at the point where we have nothing to lose. In the past, we'd be afraid to speak publicly because there was some hope that we were so close to having a real esports relationship with Nintendo, only to have that opportunity consistently slip away. Now, there are a couple of stories here that I'm not super familiar with, but there's one in particular that I am familiar with, and I'll talk about when we get there. So, third-party entities that have attempted to work with Smash.
So basically, big name companies that are trying to help benefit Nintendo's product by giving it a platform with money to make it easily accessible for everyone.
Yes. Now, okay, I said one. There's two. There's two one that I know for sure, and there's one that I was privy to, but because I'm not like super high up there in the scene, I wasn't like there, but I knew about the stuff. So, excuse me. So let's get into the third party. So yeah, several entities that have attempted to work with Nintendo to create events for Melee, Smash 4, and Ultimate. The following are just some of the bigger esports entities that were brought up to me. Now, the important thing I want to point out there is that these are just some of them. These are the bigger ones. There are smaller events that have attempted to make something bigger for the Smash community, and they've been struck down by Nintendo. I'm not at liberty to say a lot of stuff because a couple of the ones that I know were kind of bound in like red tape, so I can't really speak on it. But I do know of small, like not as big entities trying to help, and they've just been shit canned.
Okay.
So now, let's see. E-League, the organization that has brought Counter-Strike, Street Fighter, and many other games to ESPN, had attempted to throw large events for Smash. In the end, they only got rights to rebroadcast the E3 Ultimate Invitational. My source explained to me that the rebroadcast rights served mostly as a consolation from Nintendo, as Nintendo wasn't cooperating on allowing them to run a more meaningful Smash event. HTC. After HTC Throwdown, a successfully capped one-day event ran by HTC Esports, they had an interest in running a Smash circuit with more money than we had ever seen in Smash. However, because an official Nintendo Twitch circuit was just about finalized, HTC was instead asked to aim the sponsors. Was asked to instead aim to sponsor the main circuit after that, rather than running a competing circuit. Well, I don't know why I can't read today. Thus, HTC backed out of running its own circuit under the expectation that Twitch Nintendo circuit would come to fruition. As we now know, this circuit would never come to be, as I will discuss in the Twitch section below. ESL made an attempt to work with Nintendo to run its own circuit and league, but Nintendo was largely unresponsive. They tried making meaningful contact with a company, prepared decks to sell the idea, but it didn't go anywhere as Nintendo would not respond. I think it's interesting to note that Nintendo was willing to have Splatoon on ESL, and that's important. We'll get to that later. Was willing to have Splatoon on ESL. To me, this shows that Nintendo will support scenes that don't thrive on their own, like Splatoon and ARMS. But they won't touch Smash because they can hang back and reap the benefits that we create as a grassroots community, essentially letting us do all the work while doing nothing to help us get bigger. MLG held an event with Melee and later Smash 4. And according to the source, MLG did not continue working with Smash Melee after MLG Anaheim in 2015 because Nintendo wanted to charge a $50K licensing fee per event, over double the asking rate for Street Fighter 4, a much more modern game at the time. This practice to me seems like an ineffective way seems like a effective way to shut down Melee at MLG without directly preventing them from running it. I also assume that this fee would be charged and no real support would be provided by Nintendo, as has been the case with some of our grassroots events.
Because that's literally just the licensing. That's just saying
that's the licensing per event.
Per event. So if they, so basically, and just to summarize for those of you who may not catch, and let me make sure I'm understanding it as well. Mm-hmm. When we watch an NFL broadcast, and we get towards the end of the game, and it says that this broadcast is property of the NFL and cannot be shown without express written consent of the NFL. Da 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 da.
Right.
Basically, in order to host a tournament and get some notoriety and get some support behind the tournament, obviously you would want people to see this tournament. So what you would do then is you would actually broadcast this tournament. You would show this tournament. Much like you said with MLG, I've actually watched the Street Fighter 4 tournament on MLG. And it's like, you know what? Esports, you could get into just a whole discussion as to esports as a whole. Is it a sport? Is it not a sport? It's gaming. It's professional gaming, et cetera, et cetera. I have a friend. I knew him personally. I saw his sponsorship checks. I saw what it was he did. He is definitely, like, he was a ranked Halo player. And it didn't matter what game this dude picked up. You give him a game, you let him look at the control map and let him play for 5 minutes. You were not going to beat him after that. It's amazing. So for Nintendo to want to charge, say, $50,000 per event just so you can have Super Smash Bros. Melee on the banner and show it on screen on ESPN, did you say that was twice as much?
That's over twice as much.
So more than twice what you were asking for Street Fighter 4.
Which is more recent and more current.
More contemporary.
Well, thing,
even at that time.
Right now.
Even at that time, it was like, that was, because this was what, 2015? This was like the new wave game at the time.
Melee had been out for 14 years at this point. Street Fighter had been out for like, what, 1, maybe 2?
And so here it is. You have the option to show this game. And that's kind of what I was saying earlier. So Nintendo was just saying, like, I tell you what, we'll let you do it. It's going to cost you $50,000.
Right. And
so you mean for $15,000 over here, I can do Street Fighter? Well, guess we doing a Street Fighter tournament.
Exactly.
Holla.
Now, and I was about to say something, but it's at the bottom of this tweet longer, so I'm gonna kind of just scroll past a little bit for the MLG because it goes on a little bit, but basically it's just
we ain't getting no support from Nintendo. They acting like they don't want us to use their property to help make it bigger and get more people to support this thing that they created.
Right. So. All right, so I'm gonna scroll past this because that basically just kind of sums up the majority of it. There's other stuff relating to MLG. Some former employees and insiders have said that Nintendo has denied MLG the rights to stream Brawl in 2010. Nintendo denied the USA from televising the Smash portion of their events in 2006. We, of course, know the Smash community is just as excited for us to follow the tournament, to see who makes blah, 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 PR speech, blah, 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 blah.
PR speech.
Okay, so here's one of the things that I personally know about Red Bull. Because I've tried to get Red Bull. I've tried to coordinate some stuff between Red Bull and Momocon, like maybe like once or twice before. I don't deal too much with the tournaments nowadays, but I have tried to like get some of the groundwork going. But it's not my job anymore. Whatever. So initially it was Red Bull Twitch and Nintendo in talks to start a circuit similar to Red Bull's Proving Grounds for Smash, a circuit where monthly tournaments would take place across cities in the U.S. and at the end of the season, top players from each locale will come to compete in the championship event. Red Bull did much of the legwork to get it to launch, but Red Bull was effectively cut from the conversations in the deal altogether. Now, going into the Twitch portion, they had been in negotiations, and then after Red Bull was removed for Nintendo for a sanctioned circuit in Smash, including Smash 4 and Melee, starting around 2015. Now, here's the big thing: Twitch was going to front pretty much all of the cost for the budget, so a budget dealing in millions per year. Nintendo didn't have to spend a dime. Twitch would take care of that. And Nintendo would own the league brand despite their lack of financial contribution. So they would own it, but didn't pay anything for it.
Right.
Which sounds like a sweet deal for
it
any
sounds
company.
Like a sweet deal, right?
You do no work, but you reap huge benefits. Your community blows up. Your games blow up. You get more sales. It's a win, 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 win.
Right. So it seemed like Twitch was always close, only to have conversations left without a response from Nintendo for months, delaying the process. Eventually, around early 2018, after 3 years of man-hours and efforts to appease Nintendo, the parties came to an agreement. This wasn't just a verbal agreement or an agreement made in good faith. This was a written contractual agreement meant to kick off the circuit for both Melee and Smash 4. This would have been the moment that legitimized Smash Melee and Smash 4 as a major esport. For years, we had the viewership, the engagement, and the fan base to say that we were a top esport, but we lacked official sanctioning from our developer. Now, after years of manpower, money, and stress in dealing with Nintendo, we've gotten a written agreement to start a circuit. So what happened? Unbeknownst to anyone, Nintendo had plans to announce Smash Ultimate in 2018. Nintendo began ghosting those working at Twitch, even after the agreement was made. Then once Ultimate was announced, Nintendo came back to Twitch and effectively stated that the circuit no longer made sense with Ultimate in sight. They told Twitch that they wanted to see how the community responded to Ultimate and see if getting involved in esports this way would make sense once the game was released. Twitch was effectively told they had to wait again, and that conversations may be revived later in the year when Ultimate came out.
Definition of cold feet by legal jargon.
Yes. So another close call, another year delays, no guarantee that they would make anything work once Ultimate was out. It's been a while since Ultimate released with no news in sight of a circuit. As far as this person's been made aware, those talks of a circuit are completely dead. So the actions and inaction parts come to a head here. Twitch was willing to spend millions of dollars per year to do all the work for Nintendo. And Nintendo had to do nothing but say that, yeah, that's cool, and just sit back and just collect.
And not only did they not say, yeah, that's cool, they let them waste all the time, effort, and energy to create something, only to come back and say, hey, remember that game Melee you were talking about? Yeah, we got a new game coming out. Let's talk about that instead.
Right. And
after you wait more time for that, they just never answer the phone.
Right. So now here's the thing that like I was tossing around for a little bit, because I'm playing devil's advocate on this as well. Sure. Why would I want somebody to play the old shit when the new hotness is right here?
Because you can still make money off the old stuff.
No,
the old stuff like online is still expensive as shit.
But here's the thing:
if they
gotta get all the old
tournaments.
Too.
If you just released Smash Brothers Ultimate, but the tournament that you're seeing on ESPN or the tournaments that you're seeing hosted by Twitch are for Melee, you're not going to run out there and want to buy the new shit. You're going to be trying to get a copy of Melee, which I'm no longer making. So anytime you come across that game, I'm probably not making any money off of it because you ain't getting that game new no more.
Right.
You're only getting that game pre-owned, used, online, through a secondhand retailer of some sort. I'm no longer making money on that game if I'm Nintendo. Like every time, and for those of you who may not be aware, when you buy a game pre-owned from GameStop, the manufacturer, the producer, the distributor, the label, the game, nobody makes anything off of that except GameStop. So in this case, if you buy a pre-owned copy of Melee, all that money's going to whoever you paid. Nintendo ain't getting a cut of none of that.
Right.
So I can understand in that context why they would want to support the new hotness and not the old hotness that's been out for a while. That's established, and I don't have to do anything to support Melee because it's obviously holding up on its own. But if I got a company like Twitch ready to do everything, like I just can't understand why they didn't just jump on with Ultimate.
No, if someone's literally offering you all their money, all their resources, all their energy, and everything they can literally do to get the events hosted, get all the players there, get all the seating, the food, the drinks, all that crap taken care of, all you got to do is be like, hey, put my name at the bottom. It's literally going to the group project at the very end after they've done the presentation and you collect your A.
But here's the thing.
That is it.
How does Nintendo benefit from that?
More eyeballs on the product?
But I don't give a damn about eyeballs. What eyeballs do?
Eyeballs can put
I'm Nintendo.
Buy some stuff.
Wait. I'm Nintendo.
Can you play Melee make me money on Ultimate?
I'm Nintendo. Do I need your eyeballs on my product, or do I just have to say, hey, I got a new product? And because I'm Nintendo, and your kids is under 15, hell, your kids is under 21, that's my demographic.
There you go.
Kids, you got kids, that's my demographic. I'm Nintendo. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Nintendo, it is a sad case of expectation and greed. Mm-hmm. And the simple fact that
they refuse to grow their product and their brand as their old clientele grows up.
Well. See, here's the thing about that is like they make fantastic products.
Oh yeah,
like Nintendo rarely misses as far as like actual product go. Like they'll miss like once every like 12 years or so. Sure, fine, y'all make great shits. But holy fuck, are you guys just the worst? Okay, so I was having a conversation with somebody on Twitter, and it came down to Nintendo can do whatever they want with their intellectual properties, which is true. Yes, you like as far as with all these cease and desist that they're throwing out, they are legally within their right, but morally, should they do that?
Oh, morally, no. Now, so I want to go back to what you were referring to earlier with the rollback netcode.
Yes.
And the GGPO. Because there's a lot of it that has to do with that part of it. And of course, that was the part that caught my eye because I know some of that is actually open source.
It is. Yes. So I'm glad you said that. So now the creation of Slippy was made by like one dude. One guy made this for like it was. I think it was over like a matter of months or like maybe a year or something like that. But he made Slippy by himself. GGPO is made by like one person and is accessible. You can get it for free. Developers can get this thing for free. Now, will developers choose to do that? Most Japanese developers don't want to do it, and that's part of it. And I don't want to call race into this or anything like that. It's not it. What it seems like is that most Japanese developers do not want to deal with GGPO or any kind of rollback netcode.
Any non-traditional.
Well, it's not even that non-traditional. It's because they didn't make it.
Okay.
Again, it's open source.
It's open source, yeah. So anybody can pick
freeware at this point. I mean, that's the best way to think of it. It is a free program.
So now,
and there are some games that actually support it. Now, I was curious from the standpoint of, and this was where I wanted to play devil's advocate. In order for the rollback netcode to work on Smash, does it require the emulator?
It requires the emulator, yes.
That is where I feel that is where I think Nintendo really came in, and that's why it was a cease and desist and not
Right.
just like lack of support.
Now, okay, so I've heard this argument, and I also raise another. I raise a counterpoint to that. For everybody that was participating in, for 99% of people playing Melee online right now, how many of these people do you think don't own a copy of Super Smash Bros. Melee?
Of the people playing online right now.
Well, let's okay. Yeah, people that really want to play Melee online right now are already playing Melee, but they can't do it in person.
Okay.
So here's another thing that I want to bring up here, and this is something that I feel like should be common knowledge, but I'm starting to find out that it's not. Emulation is completely legal. As long as you own the original physical media, or if you have access to, let's just say this, like the original physical media. If you own that, you can just dump a copy of that shit on your computer right now. You own it. It's legal. You can do that.
Same goes with movies, DVDs, VHS, the whole nine. If you
Yes.
Unauthorized reproduction of something is basically you making a copy without having paid for the original.
Right.
And that is actually where the gray area of like all of these companies and like when everybody was like doing Fire Sticks and stuff like that, that's where all that gray area came in, because the idea was if you don't download this movie, you're not reproducing it.
Right.
If you are simply watching it, if it is just being viewed, you are streaming it is not the same as downloading it.
Right. Now, here's the other thing that I feel punches a big hole in Nintendo's logic, and I'm not a lawyer, so I feel free to correct me on this. So, the reason that Nintendo provided for the cease and desist for the Big House tournament is that because Slippy modifies the game Super Smash Bros. Melee. It does not, in fact, modify the game itself. It modifies the emulator. The emulator then allows you to play Melee online. I understand that it may sound like semantics to people, but there is a difference.
So as it stands right now, and let's just break it all the way down. Super Smash Bros. Melee was the version of Smash Bros. Available on what console?
That was the GameCube.
The Nintendo GameCube.
The Nintendo GameCube, did it have online gameplay capability?
It did not.
No.
So, to clarify, we are talking about a non-online supported game being played online through third-party freeware that emulates the gameplay for us to play online.
Yes.
Now, I'm a gamer. I'm a little bit of a nerd. I understand computers. All of that makes sense to me. So let me break it down for those of you who might be listening and didn't quite follow what I just said. When the Nintendo GameCube came out, that was the little square box, had the handle on the top, supposed to be like, marketed as kind of a portable system and whatnot. Had
Take
the
it to
funky
your friend's
nifty
house, all that stuff.
Right, had the funky nifty controller. You could even buy like that really cool screen that fit on top of it, and it was definitely a portable system then. So here was the Nintendo GameCube. The Nintendo GameCube, while it had a great collection of games, was not a console that allowed you to play online. There were no mass online multiplayer games for the GameCube. There were couch co-op 4-player games, such as Smash, such as Mario Party, a slew of other games that were
Mario Kart Double Dash would be another one.
Right. You could have 4 people sit in front of the TV, couch co-op, and they could play this game. You could have 4 people play Smash. That was an option. It is now 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017. It's been available for a while. Let me say that. There are things called emulators. Emulators basically allow you to as the word implies, emulate other games. So if I own, and I guess just a great example to help those of you who don't really catch what I'm saying. If I own the original Xbox right now today, I can take that hard drive, modify the contents and the programming on that hard drive, and I could load PlayStation games. I could load GameCube games. I could load DS games, Nintendo 64. You could have all of these other consoles. And the Xbox was the first console I remember being able to modify to do that. Today, you could do that with the Raspberry Pi. And that's something that's very common. People will get a Raspberry Pi. They can get the different controls, all of the different software that you need. There's tons of support out there. I'm just going to say it like that. And I have seen people make some very, very impressive emulators. Now, here's another crazy thing. They're technically emulators, but they were legitimized because they were purchased. They were paid for, and some of the games that are included have fallen out of the because the game is so old, there's no one that they have to pay for. There's no one they have to pay in order to be able to use this game. So if you've ever been to the mall around the holidays and you see that one game system that has like 300 games on it, that's an emulator. Nintendo is basically saying that because you have to use an emulator to play our game online, because that game doesn't have online capability, the fact that you are playing our game online through an emulator, they're just trying to act like they're all high and mighty and toot their nose up and be like, we can't support that.
Now here is the thing that is bugging a lot of people, and it should bug Nintendo as well, morally speaking. But they are a company, so they think otherwise. We are in the midst of a global pandemic. They are very the logic states that they are not okay with you using this modification of the emulator to play Melee online. Fine. Would you rather us go and play the game in person right now during the pandemic? I feel like you can let this one slide.
Are they going to be able to charge you for playing their game? Do they get something out of the fact that you're using their IP?
I feel like current events would dictate that you would just let this one slide.
No, don't get me wrong.
Just to not cause death.
I'm very much on
morally,
the side.
that is what they should do. Financially speaking, they have no obligation to help anybody.
No.
Totally within their rights legally. Morally, you're fucked.
I mean, right now in a pandemic, there are more butts stuck inside their houses than ever before.
Yes.
If you put something out there streaming, you are likely to get more hits right now than you would with any other thing.
So
why would you not put it out there?
My name Nintendo. I don't need your hits.
So
I'm
now
gonna keep saying it every time you bring that up. I'm gonna point out to you, my name is Nintendo. Have you seen my track record?
Nobody is too big for advertising. Would be my number one thing. I've seen Amazon advertise, and they are doing ridiculous.
Now,
so you're advertising. You know what I have to say? It's me, Mario.
That's really all you got to do.
That's all they have to do. It works.
That's
for
my
every
advertisement.
Nintendo fan.
It really does work.
You put Mario on the cover, just.
I ain't gotta say nothing. I'm gonna just show you an image of Mario and put just the words "coming soon."
They got Mario boxes for Mario and Amazon have a fucking collaboration. Like some people are getting Mario boxes instead of the regular Amazon packaging.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Just because. But all right, so okay, real quick because I want to move on to the next part of this because we're only on point 2. points.
This is gonna be a long test, folks.
We got 2 more points to go, baby. All right. So the effects on the scene for all of this shit going down. Why do we even want a partnership with Nintendo at all? Now, from a couple of tournament organizers, they've given their insight to what comes within a Nintendo partnership for an event. The benefits include being allowed to use allowing events to use their brand, which adds legitimacy to sponsors and potential attendees. So if it's officially a Nintendo partnered event, more asses are going to be in seats. Obvious. Cool. The second point is that the event won't get a cease and desist. Not that it would be likely to begin with, but the partnership guarantees that it won't. Yes, of course.
They're not going to issue cease and desist against themselves.
Exactly. So basically, we just want Papa Nintendo's approval. That's it. We don't want the money or anything. We just want you to stop taking down our shit.
Okay. Let me respond to that directly. And this comes directly from Nintendo. Okay. I found the only response I could find from Nintendo.
Okay.
Nintendo appreciates the love and dedication the fighting game community has for the Super Smash Bros. Series. We have partnered with numerous Super Smash Bros. Tournaments in the past and have hosted our own online and offline tournaments for the game, and we plan to continue that support in the future. Here's the key part. Unfortunately, the upcoming Big House tournament announced plans to host an online tournament for Super Smash Bros. Melee that requires use of illegally copied versions of the game in conjunction with a mod called Slippy during their online event. Nintendo therefore contacted the tournament organizers and asked them to stop. They refused, leaving Nintendo no choice but to step in to protect its intellectual property and brands. Nintendo cannot condone or allow piracy of its intellectual property. Now again, while we understand the moral dilemma that this poses, because the only reason, and let's be clear, the only reason this tournament is being held online under the conditions is because we're in a global pandemic.
Now, here's the funny thing that just throws a whole fucking, just punches a hole in that fucking statement. The Big House events have been going on for 10 years. What makes you think that they don't have fucking hundreds of copies of Smash Melee?
Oh, I'm fully aware.
What about this is illegal?
The idea or the aspect, and it really just comes down to when you talked about Papa Nintendo. They can't control every aspect of it.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
And the idea, it is such a large hypothetical. It is ridiculous that they are even being bothered by this. But here's the visual that somebody at Nintendo is presenting as the actuality. Okay?
Right.
This is the same group of people who say that if you like Harry Potter, your kid's going to be a demon. It's that the worst case scenario type people. Okay?
Right.
The people who are going to be in this tournament playing Melee are all going to be playing on hacked copies. They're going to have to download this game because there's no conventional way, and that's really what it comes down to. Even if they had said something as simple as like, "Hey, can you do Ultimate instead?" They were just like, "Don't do Melee. Don't do Melee. Don't do Melee." And then, of course, they tried to. It's like, okay, well, they're going to be using illegally copied versions. Because here's the thing. You can own a copy of the game, but odds are the average tournament player's capability of being able to rip the source code from that disk and make it playable on their computer,
it's minimal.
Pretty slim. Now, if you in fact have that capability, let's say that the 20 tournament people who are actually there have that capability. Let's say there's 20 of them. There's probably a lot more. Because if it was like any Xbox tournament once upon a time, I could have done it, and I could have pointed you to 10 other people I knew could do it. I got a hard drive in a server in a garage right now that has like I don't know how many Wii games on it, and I don't know how many Xbox 360 games on it. I'm gonna just stop there. But they on there. And I know about 10 other people who could have had the same collection. Their fear is that if they condone the pirating of this game to be played at this tournament, that somehow that's going to be interpreted as them condoning piracy. Nintendo is only trying to stand here and be steadfast in their position. Dumb as it may be, under the circumstance, they are saying, because they have specified this game, this mod, illegal copies. There is nothing that anyone is going to say to them. There's no free Smash. There's no free Melee hashtag that's going to make them change their position on that. Because the moment they come out as saying they condone the use of any kind of piracy, because no matter how you view it, those copies that are being used for the tournament were obtained online. And their voice is that this game is not an online game. So if you've modified this game in some way to be able to play it online, that's not our game. That's not our game. Now,
okay,
as a gamer, in the midst of this pandemic, online gaming is like all we got.
Yep.
I can't just go be like, hey, Sam, I'm going to go hop over your house. Or, hey, David, I'm going to come over your new crib, see what's up.
No,
I can't.
Fuck you ain't.
It's unwise. It's a pandemic. We are all responsible adults. We all realize what COVID-19 could do to us, our families, and our livelihoods. Online gaming is literally the only thing we have to be like, hey, Sam, you want to go play a game? Or, hey, David, you want to go play?
It is the safest way to hang out with your friends right now.
Easily.
But again, Nintendo could do whatever they want with their IPs. Sure. I still think they're morally fucked, but that's okay. But Sam, you said something about stupid earlier, right?
Yeah.
So how about before we get to point 3, I want to point out one last thing, and this is important because this actually hurts me a lot. So there was a mod for Super Smash Bros. Brawl called Project M. It basically fixed all the bullshit in Brawl and made it play a little bit more like Melee. It made it a little bit faster, made it a little bit more smoother, right? So it was widely considered truth that Nintendo put a cease and desist on Project Melee. That wasn't the case, apparently, according to the Switlonger. I don't know how true this is, but talking to some Smash people in the community, I'm starting to lean towards it being true. So basically what happens is that Nintendo is telling people within the community that the community support of Project M was what was preventing them from working with us. So, of course, tournament organizers and streamers said, all right, we'll just drop Project M, then we can work with Nintendo. Beautiful Smash Circuit stuff, right?
Yeah.
No. They just didn't want Project M to be a thing anymore. So they basically just whispered in people's ears like, hey, we'll give you that promo. You just stop playing the good game. And that's what happened. So Project M almost died because Nintendo just didn't want to deal with it. But that's the TwitLonger. You can find the TwitLonger. You just Google it. You can find it. It's there. You can find it. It's still up. Now we're gonna get into more recent events. You guys ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Bring us up to date.
All right. So let's fast forward to oh shit, fucking fucking what 3 days ago, December 5th.
Okay.
I say it happened 2 days ago because that's when you started acting up in group.
3 days. 3 days ago because it happened on the 5th. Today's the 8th. So Nintendo was going to do a stream for Splatoon 2. Basically, just the top teams in the Splatoon 2 national North American Open.
In Splatoon, that's another Nintendo title.
Yes,
that's
the Splatoon 2. That is their
game where you basically have to try to paint it all one color or the other.
Yes.
All right.
So
Squid Boy, Squid Girl, that game.
Yes. You're a squid now. You're a kid now.
There you go.
The electric boogaloo. So this was supposed to happen. I forget when the stream was actually supposed to happen. I don't follow Splatoon that much, but I know there was going to be a tournament stream happening. But this tweet came out by Slimy Quagsire, and it reads as follows. So the Splatoon community, in support of the Smash community, has 30% of the top teams in this weekend's Splatoon 2 North American Open with team names in support of Melee and Smash. So what does Nintendo America and Nintendo Versus do in response? They canceled the live stream for tomorrow's finals. Kind of funny that they'll sever their own support that they love to parade around as something so fantastic just because the Splatoon community wants to stand in solidarity with the other scenes that Nintendo outright harms. Hashtag free Melee, hashtag save Smash. To be clear, this is all Nintendo's call. Not any of the tournament organizers or broadcasters they've enlisted for the weekend. This is damage control and an outright spit in the face of all their dedicated competitive scenes. But we ain't surprised. LOL, hashtag Nintendo hates you, hashtag fuck Nintendo, hashtag free Melee. So, they are not above canceling streams that they themselves are promoting because they want to distance themselves from the Smash drama right now. Now, I forgot to bring this up in the other point, before the other point. Now, some people were trying to argue that they're trying to distance themselves from the Smash community because of the whole allegations that happened this summer with Smash, with over 60 players and commentators, high profile Smash players, were outed as either rapists, sexual predators, child groomers, pedophiles, stuff like that. And if the TwitLonger didn't come out when it did, I would likely agree with you. But seeing that all these issues are happening before that happened, it's very much not the point at this point. Yes,
doesn't
what happened
necessarily make them connected.
Yes, doesn't necessarily make that a correlation is not causation. But that was the I had a whole bigger point for that, but I missed my point. But that was it. That was pretty much it. The culling this summer has nothing to do with what's going on with what Nintendo's trying to do as of right now. Now, point 3 is very small. It's a very small point, but is very important as well because this shows that Nintendo is not above killing off things that they themselves are promoting to just try to make this go away. And before 2020, that might have worked, but more people are at home right now and they got nothing but time on their hands. So this ain't going away. The Smash community is kind of fed up with the bullshit. Now, does anybody else have anything to say before I move on to our final point as of right now?
The only thing I would add is devil's advocate again for
Sure.
Nintendo.
Sure.
With everything that's going on, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Okay.
It's
Sure.
my company.
Yes.
I don't have to care about morals. I don't have to care about most of the gaming community that you guys have going on. It's not
Correct.
making me money right now because you are the Melee community that Sam has pointed out several times. You're not making me more money at this time. Move on to something new and fresh.
Now, Splatoon. And this is where I want to jump in and play the other side of that card.
Okay.
The Splatoon North America, Splatoon 2 North American Open. That is a very modern tournament. That is a right now tournament.
Yep.
And given that is
hold on, just real quick. The tournament still happened, but the stream was canceled. The tournament still happened. It's still going to happen. They didn't cancel the tournament itself, just the stream because they didn't want
the broadcast of it.
Yes.
Now, when you were talking about those eyes, this is where they should have those eyes.
I can play advocate on that though.
This is where they should have the eyes because when you're playing Splatoon 2, you know what you're playing that on? Our current system.
You know what else is on the current system? Smash.
So,
can I make a wait? I'll let you finish.
Go ahead.
What I will say is, it's not as damaging to Nintendo as you think. If I remove the eyes from the streamers who are good at this game, they have no audience. They have no audience. They go away. Streamers have to be very current and they have to be very popular to keep going on and on and on. I take those eyeballs away from you were expecting from that tournament. Be like, hey, check out my stream. We're at a tournament right now. It's gone. All your eyes. Whole audience. Missing.
Okay. Now, that would be a very compelling argument if it wasn't for the fact that Nintendo themselves have been promoting this tournament forever. And then it's suddenly, because of all this, it's suddenly canceled. And then somebody's like, why was it canceled? It takes a quick Google search to find out why it was canceled.
Now, the only thing I can see, and it's one of those things now this Nintendo does not have an official stance on.
Yes.
And that's what's troubling. Because you told me why you shut down the other one, why they got a cease and desist. You have not spoken up on this. You've had
because
time.
They can't. Because
there's been days.
That
you need to speak up on this. Splatoon, and the fact that you can go and you can find, and I know this one's on Twitter. This was the one that I was sent a link to earlier in group. We were talking about it. You can find a list of the team names for the Splatoon 2 North American Open. And when you look at that list of names, once that list of names popped out,
actually, I'm gonna pull it up right now. I can read a couple of them.
All of a sudden, there was no more stream.
So you got Meleetation, hashtag Free Melee 211, hashtag Free Melee 227, Element Free Melee. Yeah, so
basically the streaming community gave the bird to Nintendo, and Nintendo's like, no, you're not going to use our own service, something we publicize, to give the bird. It's done.
Yeah.
So
and because it's their stream. Now
they can kill it.
They would have gotten the fact that Nintendo was on roster to stream this. That would have been on their page. That would have been, Nintendo America's YouTube or whatever. Probably if they have the Twitch account, the fact that they were going to stream it, that would have been, it would have had some eyes on it. It would have been highly publicized. It would have had some views. Knowing that they were going to have people seeing all those hashtags, all those free Smash, free Melee, they wasn't finna allow that to build up the way it did. And so it became what was trending on social media. Twitter especially, because Twitter don't waste no time with it.
No, Twitter will jump on a completely fresh carcass and just tear it apart just because they can.
Yeah.
That is what social media has become.
But
now,
given that
Brent. Oh, go ahead.
Given that they were going that route with it, and they have not officially addressed, at this point, damage is done. The speculation is there. They could have come up with any kind of BS.
Yeah, because what I'm holding back is my mom has been a paralegal like my whole damn life. I know some legal jargon. I did mock trials in high school. I did the whole shebang. I'm just wondering why there is no official statement. What legal jargon they can't just throw out just to cease and desist this whole thing and throw it right under that rug.
Well, see, but that would admit that they are doing it because they would have to admit the fact that they are canceling the stream because of the whole Melee situation.
They would have to acknowledge.
They would have to acknowledge it.
And the last thing they want to do is
say, hey, I'm wrong.
It's not even that they want to say, hey, I'm wrong. It's one thing to say, hey, I'm wrong, or we could revisit this, or whatever the case may be. But for them to have canceled the stream, now they have to come back and say, either we had XYZ technical difficulty, which can more than likely be 100% validated by the venue, by the people at the tournament, by any number of people to say, yeah, that's true, or be like, no, that didn't happen. You see what I'm saying? Like, that could be verified.
Right.
So since they can verify if there's any kind of technical issue, they would then have to acknowledge that the reason the stream is being canceled is because people have names up that say free Melee. If they do that, not only would that be spitting in the face of the people who you're taking the Splatoon 2 players, and you're
How many
spitting in
Splatoon
their
2
face.
players did you say were within the Smash community, David? You had a statistic on that one?
Wait, say it again?
How many Nintendo Smash players were playing Splatoon as well in the tournaments?
That I do not have a number on. I don't know how many Smash players were actually playing in the Splatoon tournament, but I do know that a lot of high-profile Smash players had made donations to that tournament in solidarity with them being in solidarity with the Smash community. You know, giving love back and all that.
There was
because the biggest issue here is I can see why Nintendo hasn't issued a statement in the sense that the Smash community is using their freedom of speech to speak up for the injustices that they are seeing. It is extremely hard to find the legal terminology to force you not to use your freedom of speech. So that in a sense, I can see why there hasn't been no official statement, as well as having to at least semi-acknowledge what has transpired.
Now, I think it's time to get to the final point. And I think this is what sent me over the edge right now. Because this part's more sensitive, at least to me and a lot of people.
IPL Heart Smash. Okay, sorry. I know you're about to get into this point. I just real quick. I found the Splatoon 2 North American Open December 2020 roster. 291 teams are scheduled for this North American Open. So when you talk about the size of the community, 291 teams.
Which consists of what, 4 players?
4 players, yes.
Holy hell, you have over 1,000 people. Just doing basic math.
And no. And that's just in this Nintendo sponsored tournament.
This is the North American tournament.
This is North American Open. So I was looking for that number when you asked about the size of the community. This tournament. Imagine all of the narrowing down they had to do to get to the North American Open.
Yeah.
So
let alone go to the Worlds after that and try, but it'll still be up in the air by then.
So,
Yeah.
All right, David, continue.
So, this one is a lot more. This is touchy. This is the touchier part. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Etika.
No idea what that is.
Fill us in
Okay.
for those who are not.
So Etika, it was a prominent YouTuber. He was he was labeled the Nintendo bad boy because he was one of the guys that like was leaking the Smash the Switch, like one of the first people to leak that Nintendo Switch was a thing or how it's supposed to be or anything like that. But he was very much Nintendo fanboy. Like almost all of his like content was Nintendo related. Like he's the reason why Smash reveals are as hype as they are.
Okay. So he built that community almost with himself.
Yes. He unfortunately, I believe it was 2 years ago. Yeah, about 2 years ago. Unfortunately, he committed suicide, mental health, and all that. And it still hurts a lot of people to this day. He was very much beloved in the community. So I'm trying to find the. Just give me 1 second.
And we at Growing Geeks take mental health very seriously. If you have anything you want to talk about, talk to your admins. We're here for you, and make sure to seek the appropriate professional help as well.
I'm trying to find the Twitter post.
You looking for a specific Twitter post?
Yeah, okay, found it. Captain Alex, there it is. Okay. So, this is a development. Oh. Okay, this is a development. All right, good. All right, so this guy by the name of Captain Alex, he was making shells for the Joy-Cons. Basically just, they were named Etikons because they were, Etika inspired Joy-Con shells, the controllers for the Switch. He recently received a cease and desist from Nintendo to stop selling these Joy-Cons. Because actually, I'm gonna send you guys a picture of it. I'm gonna send you a picture of the Joy-Cons. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna find it. If I can find a picture. While I'm looking for it, I'm just gonna keep talking. Basically, it's just basically Etika's kind of like style, or it was basically a modified Joy-Con shell. Which, of course, sure, whatever. You can say whatever you want about modifications made to Joy-Cons or whatever. But here's the thing. The majority of the proceeds, well, first of all, he bought the Joy-Cons outright to make the shells, from what I understand. He basically just painted over the shells and sent them out. He paid for the Joy-Cons. Nintendo already has the money. Now, the profits that he made from selling the Joy-Con shells went to charity. Almost 10K, I believe. Hold on, let me see if I can pull the number up real quick. Almost $10,000 was raised for. I want to make sure I get the JED Foundation, a foundation that brings education awareness and mental health services to teens and young adults across the USA, in memory of Desmond Etika Amofa. Now, normally, selling something with Nintendo's like selling something like this would be it's classic cease and desist material, right?
Right.
Yeah, because most people are making profit and just keeping it in their own pocket.
Right. This man already paid Nintendo for the Joy-Cons. And anything extra that he got was to charity. In memory of, some would argue, Nintendo's biggest fan. Again, you can argue it's their IP. It is their right to. It's now
they got paid for. They got paid for.
Right.
He made no money off it. He worked his ass off just to donate.
Hold on. Hear me out. Because I'm going somewhere with this.
Did they still drift?
Motherfucker.
Because if they still drift,
motherfucker.
Because if they still drift, don't tell me shit about my Joy-Cons.
So
these clearly the ones I bought from you because they drift. Okay, go ahead.
So now, hold on. Here it is. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna save this picture. I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna put it in the chat real quick. Yeah, here they go. There you go. That's what they look like.
Black and white ones.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, like I said, normally, Nintendo, it's your IP. Do whatever you want. Sure. This man barely made a dime off of this shit. And anything that he made went to charity. How fucking dare you? In the memory of one of your biggest fans, how fucking dare you cease and desist this man? How heartless can you fucking be? I don't care if it's your intellectual property. Morally, you are the most bankrupt pieces of shit of 2020. Now, here's another thing that I want to point out here. It is a well-known fact that there is a main character on Twitter every fucking day. The goal for anybody on Twitter is to not be the main character of the day, because it's usually not for anything good.
No.
Nintendo has been the main character on Twitter for 4 days straight. That says a lot.
When I sound educated about stuff Nintendo's doing, you done did something wrong.
You like
move quietly, don't make a lot of noise. Model for every business company nowadays.
If this was really hurting you, then you are in fucking trouble.
Yeah. And that's why I say, like, it really comes down, like, this just goes to show you that this is nothing more than a corporate machine. And it'd be one thing. Okay. I will make an argument for Nintendo all day long regarding the Melee tournament. Mm-hmm. I will argue almost on behalf of Nintendo from a legal standpoint and the position they must maintain. Because Metallica is going to tell you don't download music for free.
Right.
Christopher Nolan is going to tell you don't bootleg movies and get them for free. So I understand Nintendo's position saying don't download this game and play it for free. I understand their position. Not saying I agree with it or disagree with it. That is not my argument. I'm simply saying I understand the position they have to be in as a company and how it stands to reason with them citing under the circumstances, given that the emulator is required in order to play this game that was not originally designed to be played online. In a
Sure.
sense, the argument can be made that you are in fact modifying the game code. And that's why that was kind of what I was pointing at earlier when I was talking about being able to make copies of the game and things like that, because it's making copies of the games themselves. It's not just a matter of I'm going to take this GameCube disc, stick it in my PC, drag and drop it to a folder, and now I have a copy. That's not how that works.
Right.
That is not how it works. Now the mod Slippy. Mm-hmm. Nothing about the mod Slippy is illegal. That's important to point out. We've already mentioned that's freeware. It's an open source code that was written 100% legal. Okay? There are copyright laws that allow you to make a backup for personal use. The problem with that is that, okay, going to speak very carefully here. I have heard tale from individuals I know that when you try to copy a video game disc, the DMCA coding prevents copyright infringement. For anybody who's ever tried to make a copy of a music CD, for example, if you bought some MP3s and you had the MP3s stored on your computer, and then you collected all those MP3s and you went to burn a disc, you would simply drag all those to a disc. You would burn disc. If there was a CD that existed, a music CD, and you took that music CD and you put it in your computer, it would play the music and whatnot. But if you tried to copy that, it would not let you copy it. If you took a DVD, a movie, a Blu-ray, and you went to copy that, there's certain software that's encoded on that disc that prevents you from being able to copy that. That is typically the DMCA coding that prevents that. In order to make a copy of these games, oftentimes you have to get around that DMCA coding. I hear that's how it goes. Somebody told me that's what you have to do. Not that I would remember any of that from the Xbox hard drive I've already talked about, or the Wii games. Anyway, so yeah, there is something to be said as far as the legality of the copies that they are playing for the tournament, blah, 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 blah. I will stand not in solidarity with Nintendo, but I will stand on the fence regarding that one. It is a pandemic. Nintendo, get over yourselves. You're talking about a 20-year-old game. Y'all are not hurting.
Well,
what the hell, man?
So
Come on.
Okay, so here's
the
argument. Here's the conclusion I have come to, kind of dealing with this for the past couple of weeks. And I had to sit down with my thoughts on this one, because I care a lot about the Super Smash Brothers franchise. I care a lot about the community itself. I own 2 Nintendo Switches. I own a Switch and a Switch Lite. Super Nintendo was the first ever thing that I put my hands on as a gamer.
Okay.
You can make an argument that Nintendo tried to reason with the Smash community. You can make an argument that they tried to reason with the Splatoon and any other competitive communities that they had before now. They never made an attempt to make any kind of concessions with with this guy here selling the Etika Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't even gotten into going in on them about that yet.
You
there's
didn't,
nothing to defend Nintendo with pertaining to that.
Didn't even make a fucking attempt. You could have easily said, "Hey, don't sell the Joy-Cons like that. How about we partner and we'll sell it on the website? They don't even have to be in stores. They could be on our website for a limited time because y'all love to do limited time releases for some fucking reason. And we'll just sell them like that, and then we'll have a portion of that, a portion of those proceeds go to any charity of your choice." It's a simple fucking fix, but you went straight for the C&D, and it makes no fucking sense. So it shows that you are not above leaving charity alone to protect to protect your intellectual property.
It's literally all Nintendo had to do was say, "Hey, we will match you dollar for dollar on what you make off profit." And then boom, you have a great publicity stunt. It saves their image.
Honestly,
it is a huge save right now that they could have had.
I'm about to say, if they did that, a lot of the shit with the Smash community probably would have went away. We would still talk about it, but be like, "Hey, at least they did a $10,000 donation. At least they donated some money to this mental health."
There would be more people leaning with me to say, like, well, I guess
you wouldn't be the bad guy on Twitter for the 5th day in a row.
Because here's the thing. It becomes one of those things where it's like, it's one thing to protect your intellectual property. And again, I don't think that they're protecting Melee. Let me be clear.
They're not
about that. Okay,
they're not.
It has nothing to do with the fact, and I'm not even going to go and pick on them and say that it's because they're not making any money on Melee or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that part of it. Like I said, I believe wholeheartedly, 100%. It is just that they have to take the stance and the position that pirating is wrong, and playing a game that is modded and pirated, even in a tournament, even if it's one of our games, like, you can't do that. Like, I appreciate it. Like, oh, guys,
they're punishing all because they believe one did it.
And it's not even about that the one did it. I mean, ultimately, and this is the part that I was really trying to like be clear about. While it is likely, highly likely, that the people who are playing in this tournament probably, okay, like for example, the people who are playing this tournament, I'm sure they practice, right? That means they are sitting at home at some point playing Melee to practice, to get good, to get their frame rates right and their distances gauged and things like that. That means more than likely they're playing on a GameCube and that they're playing Melee.
For hours on end.
Now, let's be real. Could they also possibly be playing an emulator?
Absolutely.
Possible.
Absolutely. Why not? They could be.
Sure.
We don't know. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. As a game, it does not matter what they are playing, what they are playing on. There is a very good chance, and this is where Nintendo comes in and says, yeah, but we can't prove it. There's a very good chance that this person at some point, they probably didn't pick up the emulator and get into this game.
Yeah.
It wasn't like their first introduction to this game was the emulator. Like, oh, let me go and figure out how to download this emulator to my console, to my whatever. Get good with that. Let me figure out all the technology required to do that so that I can play this game I've never played before. That probably ain't happened. You know what I'm saying? But doesn't matter. When it's all said and done, in order for them to play that game online for that tournament, they had to have the Slippy mod installed, and they had to have an emulator playing an emulated copy of the game. There's no way that Nintendo can verify that that is a legitimate backup copy. The reality of it is it probably wasn't. Doesn't matter if I own it over here. If I download an illegal copy and I have a legitimate copy, the copy I downloaded is still an illegal copy because I didn't make it from my copy. That's the semantics of it, but that's what Nintendo is saying. And I get and at least understand them saying, hey guys, we can't support that and you shouldn't either. That's an emulator. That's a modded game. Don't do that. Woo, 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 woo. But then they came back and did an asshole move and said, oh, y'all got a problem with what we did by Smash? Okay, cool. Don't stream that.
Right.
Don't stream that. Oh, y'all got to. Oh, also, who's that making them controllers? Yeah, tell him, you know what? Just send him a letter. Like, fuck it. I ain't even got time. I don't even have time to pick up the phone and tell him not to do it. I don't care why he's doing it. I don't care what chair. Is that my controller he messing with? I need that stopped. Nintendo is the asshole. Nintendo is all of the assholes because they are making moves like an asshole. This is not the company. This does not sound like a family-friendly company to me. This sounds like the greedy corporate machine. And this is not the image that Nintendo needs to have in the middle of a pandemic with new, because let me tell you something. Right now, Xbox, right now, PlayStation, hey, they finna be doing something. So, because in a minute, Nintendo got to come out with something new.
Yep.
Now, think about it. Do you really want to come into 2021 being the asshole? Because don't think we going to forget.
They made sure you wouldn't forget. They did not once, not twice. They were the asshole 3 times in a row to their consumers.
So, it was there was a lot they could have done different. Some stuff I wish they had for their benefit. And like I said, I was even willing to argue on their behalf for the one part of it. But it's so much more than that. It's not just that one thing. And that's the issue. Nintendo been fucking up for a couple of days now.
Because when you take it as a whole, there's nothing you can say definitively to say where Nintendo is any kind of a decent company. Morally, at all. And you could have said for one issue, maybe. The second issue, The third issue, Nintendo be damned. Like, family friendly my ass.
Yeah.
Dude was donating to charity. He didn't make a penny. He was using his own free time to raise awareness for something that took probably one of his friends away. And they were like, you know what? Fuck you.
You know what? And I really need to take a moment. And this is one of those things where I have to go back and I have to look like.
Because it deeply impacted.
I kind of want to buy a Joy-Con, open it up, and just read the packaging, read the little included paperwork and whatnot. Because I feel like if I pay for this Joy-Con controller, if I buy this, how is it illegal for me to paint it? I need to know that is. Oh, wait. It's not the painting of it. It's the reselling of it. That's got to be what it is. That's because the guy,
the smallest little semantical thing. Like, absolute most minuscule detail.
Yeah, so it's the reselling, but at the same time, you already have the money. And whatever money would have been profit for this guy went to charity. So he's not making a dime.
Like, he's not screwing you out of anything. He still spent the money to get the shit from you first.
I guess that, you know what? And my argument for that then would be so then that means you can't buy a pre-owned Joy-Con anywhere else.
Well, see, now here's the thing. You can't buy a pre-owned one. You can't buy a third-party one. That's not officially, branded by Nintendo. That's the impression that they're giving off right now.
So if I go on eBay, there is not a pre-owned Joy-Con.
Oh no, there's absolutely pre-owned Joy-Cons, and there's plenty of third-party ones.
Well, then where is this cease and desist for them? If you gonna have a stance, have a stance. Don't single nobody out.
The stance is it's not making me more money, but I already have the money, but I want more money.
But if the dude who's selling
I
it on
want more
eBay
money.
don't have to give you a cut, and you're not sending him a cease and desist because he's selling his, why is you picking on this one man here who's doing something good with his? Yeah,
Because Nintendo needs the money.
Nintendo never needs the money.
Because I feel like it'd be so easy to send a cease and desist, be like, hey, eBay, hey, Amazon, hey, all these other major online resellers. Hey, you come across
So
this shit,
Amazon,
send it back.
eBay will
so
rip
now
their ass up. They don't want to go to war with eBay, and they
so
definitely don't
now
want. They don't want flack with Amazon.
so now where
Bezos
does
got
that
hands.
so where does this leave us now as far as the Smash community goes? I myself, you'll notice if you do follow me on Twitch, I haven't really been playing Smash like that anymore because I can't bring myself to play it. I don't enjoy playing Smash anymore right now. It is mainly because of this. Like I found out so much shit, and and this shit just keeps getting worse as the fucking days and the weeks go on. And I honestly, if it wasn't for Age of Calamity right now, because I really love that game, I probably would not be touching my Switch at all. I have a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series X. I can find some other shit to play. I have a gaming PC. I have a gaming PC. I can find some shit to play.
Yeah,
I don't need to play Nintendo shit right now.
because they just put the Mandalorian on Fortnite.
I can find some shit to play.
Don't act like I would just have to play the Switch.
Right. Like, there's nothing stopping me from playing other shit. Like, I could just drop the Switch cold turkey right now. Because that's really how I feel about shit right now. But at the same time, unless like I don't know what it's gonna take to get Nintendo to realize that they are shooting themselves in the foot.
Boycott their new release. That's literally it. You have to
See,
take. That's the only thing
that's
that
gonna
makes a
take a
big
lot.
business anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Because
gonna
it's
take a
across the
lot.
board, and like the whole mom and pop who walk in a GameStop who never bought a game system their whole life, and you have to do the whole
Right.
dick.
So it really just feels like I feel bad because I do enjoy the one game that I'm playing on the Switch right now. And I have a whole backlog of stuff on the Switch that I should be beating right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly can't bring myself to play it at the moment because I just like if I like even saying Nintendo leaves a bad taste in my mouth because I just cannot stand the way that they're handling things right now. And it really hurts. It breaks my heart because I do enjoy Nintendo products. I do enjoy Nintendo. I just don't enjoy the business side of Nintendo because they are just fucking it up. And I said it in chat. Like, whoever their PR guy is needs to be fucking shot because there's no way. Capcom embraces their community. NetherRealm Studios embraces their community.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat.
Fucking Sega. Sega of all people. You would think that Sega would need to protect their intellectual properties. They are hiring motherfucking fan game creators off the street to make their new games. Like
Sega's like, wait, you know how to do that?
yeah,
Come here, we got a job
Nintendo's
for
like,
you.
hey, you made a Pokemon fan game? Yeah, shut that shit down. Sega's like, damn, you made Sega CD, you made Sonic CD better? Hey, hold on, you want a paycheck? What's good? Come here.
Come over here and sit at this desk.
Come
You
here.
think you could do something
You,
with that computer?
you
Could
want to
you do
make
better?
you want to make a Sonic game? A real one? You want to make some money, bitch? Yes. Come sit at the table. Come eat with us. Nintendo's like, the food is all for me. Sega's like, share here, eat, because they love the shit. Like the Sonic hacking contest has been going on for years, and Sega eats that shit up because they're just like, damn, how many times can they break Sonic 1? That shit's crazy. Nintendo's like, you modded Mario 64? You can't play Mario 64 on an emulator. By the way, here's Mario's 3D All Stars where we put Mario 64, Sunshine and Galaxy on an emulator. Had that, bitch. Like it doesn't make sense. Like you would think that like embracing the community would get you more money. You would
It makes
think
too much
so.
sense.
It makes a lot of sense, right? But I don't think Nintendo is just on board with it, and I believe it's because of the people who are in charge. Because I'm being real with you, there's some old Japanese boys. I don't know what the fuck going on over there, man. Like, what's going on, guys? Like, will it
you
kill you to
disrespect
have
my dojo when you
like,
don't?
Would it kill you to like let the fans show some love for for your titles, for your properties? Like, why you gonna strike down an F-Zero fan game? You ain't did shit with F-Zero in 10 years.
It don't matter. It's mine.
You ain't did shit with F-Zero.
I mean, I would definitely agree that there's something seriously wrong. That Nintendo is like the kid who leaves all his toys in the sandbox, and when you come to the sandbox and pick up his toys, he suddenly starts yelling and crying for his mama to get his toys back, and don't want you playing with his toys. He ain't played with them. He ain't touching with them.
He just don't want you touching them.
In fact, all he wants to do is show off his new toy, and you're not interested in that. So you're like, okay, well, I mean, that's cool, but you playing with that one. So let me grab this one over here. No, that's mine. Okay, well, let me get that one. Mine too.
Nintendo, as of late, have been becoming increasingly petty, and this is not the petty energy I enjoy. I don't enjoy this petty energy because it is misplaced petty.
I was about to say their petty is wrong. Like their petty is hurtful.
Yeah,
their petty is unnecessary.
Yeah,
like here's the thing: when you're gonna be petty, you have to be petty because somebody was on some dumb shit, and you had to show them. Let me tell you what petty. Nintendo needed to be petty like when dude bought the controllers and he painted them, and Nintendo needed to be like, we don't like them colors.
That's it.
Dang, bro, that was the best color scheme you could come up with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Push them to do better.
Then
like,
they would like issue a challenge and be like, so why don't everybody go ahead and just make a new controller and let's put that out there, and whichever one wins the contest is going to be the one we put in production next.
So, I mean, they do zero work, but they reap 100% of the benefits right there. That's the productive kind of petty.
Like, don't be a salty petty bitch. Be petty like Harada petty. Harada would sit here and say, "Don't ask me for shit," but still put Negan in Tekken. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, they were petty to the point they insulted a man who died from suicide. And all charities to help those struggling with mental issues.
I think
petty. There's nothing good about the story you can spin PR wise. You're just doomed.
I think that's the point where I'm just like I'm over it because like I met the man in person one time, and when I say that man lit up a room, that man, you could not contain this man's hype. This man was he's always smiles. He always had a good time. You could see in his reaction videos. You could see it whenever he was streaming or whatever. Before that mental took a hit, man, you couldn't tell Etika shit, boy. He was on top of the world. He was the greatest. He was the biggest Nintendo fanboy. And this shits on his legacy. And I don't stand for that.
It's a company he loved and supported, both financially and through his streams, literally just took a giant dump on his grave.
And it's just
all they did.
It's not right. It ain't right. And that's all I got to say, unless something else pops up, which I'm pretty sure something else is gonna pop up tomorrow, like it always has been. I got nothing else to say. My heart hurts. I'm tired. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to play Age of Calamity. I'm going to go to bed. and that's it. And then I'll look at my Series X over here in the corner and just be like, you winning right now. And I'll end it on this. I'll end my thoughts on this right now. I'm looking at a tweet right now under this other tweet that I'm looking at. This comment says, "Damn, Nintendo really want us to buy a PS5 right now."
Because they could literally be killing it in Switch sales.
They could.
I mean, Sony screwed up the launch. Xbox screwed up the launch. This was their time to shine. No.
That is how you be. Look, we were talking about how to be petty. That's how you be petty. Their next tweet needs to be like, can't find a PS5 or an Xbox? Nintendo Switch, now in stock everywhere.
Like, how did you fumble the ball? How did you fumble the bag so hard? That
they
you
could
got
be
people
swimming
like,
in money, but no, they're swimming
you got
in
people
their own crap.
wanting to buy a system. You can't keep these bitches in stock, and you just talking out your ass with the C&Ds, and you're just like, we got this. We got niggas out here right now talking about, I might as well go ahead and buy a PS5 because I ain't fucking with Nintendo right now. You ever see like your hero just like stab a baby? That's what it feels like to me. It feels like Nintendo had just picked up a baby. Like, they've been walking that ambiguous line of like hero and villain, and then like, what you think they're really just gonna go over to the left side and be like, this is the hero moment. They pick up the baby and they just stab it, and that's it. So you're just full of shit now. All that character development is gone. You just stabbed a baby. Fuck you.
I'm trying to think of a character to perfectly summarize that from something I've seen, but I don't know of a character that dark.
Donzo.
Oh.
Donzo. No. Okay. Look.
Donzo was never good though.
No.
Donzo was
no. Donzo.
That's a whole different tangent.
No. Because it makes perfect sense. Donzo is for the Leaf. He is for the Leaf Village in its entirety.
That is
the
true.
ways that he goes about it is kind of fucked.
Kinda.
But you cannot say that this man was not about his village.
Yeah, he was a giant asshole who caused a giant, genocide of a particular group of people. So
anything that he did it in the name of the Leaf Village.
He went a little too hard for the Leaf.
He went too hard for the Leaf, and that's where Nintendo is right now. They go a little too hard for Mario. Just a tiny bit too much where they're taking money away from mentally ill teens and preteens.
Who are especially suffering because those who need social interaction during these dark, difficult holiday times, because not everyone's going to be with their fans and family right about now. And then you take away their joy of gaming on top of that.
It all comes full circle.
Man, you an asshole.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going to end it right there. Nintendo, you an asshole. You a fucking asshole. And you should be ashamed of yourself. Hope your mama beat your ass tonight.
Wait for our cease and desist next time on Grown Geek.
I say this shit about to get pulled down by Nintendo real quick.
And you know what? The opinions expressed on this episode were absolutely my fucking opinions.
That's
you
right,
already know how I feel about Nintendo.
Bitch.
Ooh, come get some. I got old footage of how I was talking.
I was gonna buy Persona 5 Strikers on the Switch. I'm gonna buy it on PC now. Get it 4 days early, bitch. What's up? Talk to me.
So, I don't own a Switch, so suck it, Nintendo.
You good. Get it on PS4. Fuck you.
I ain't got a Switch, bro. Like,
get it on PS4.
You was talking about like how you not gonna play the Switch. I was like, I ain't been playing the Switch.
Good. Don't. I mean, no.
Because it's not like I was gonna play Smash.
Like before, I was like,
Splatoon.
hey, go ahead and get a Switch. But right now, I'm like, hey, if you can't find a Switch, it's all good, homie. It's all good. Don't even stress it. It's all good.
So, anyway,
don't even stress yourself.
Look, man, that's how we feel about it. We want to make sure y'all know how we felt about it. And like I said, I was ready to come on here, and there was only one thing Nintendo did that I was like, okay, maybe just. I get where they coming from. They could have handled that so much differently, but you know what? They fumbled the bag. Like you said, you know what? Nintendo some assholes.
They let the snowball down the
it
hill
is what
become
it
the
is.
boulder that wiped out the villagers.
So, on that note, we thank you for listening to us. We are Grown A Geeks. Make sure to check your QR codes in the upper corners. One is going to take you to the YouTube channel where you can like and subscribe this video. Be sure to check out the many playlists we have in there. Tons of content available for you. You can scan the QR code over there. That will actually take you to our group on Facebook where you can join in and see the daily shenanigans that we talk about and the conversations we have. We're getting kind of hyped for some things that are going to be coming here real soon. I know I'm going to be doing some playthroughs and loading some playthrough video of my Cyberpunk. I'm pretty sure Will's going to put some up. Are you putting up Cyberpunk?
I'm not interested in purchasing Cyberpunk.
Okay, that's cool. Well, you continue to give us all that throwback gaming goodness. Did you beat the last guy you were fighting?
Yeah, where I'm currently at will be out by Christmas.
Cool.
That's I got 2 episodes a week.
All right, so be sure to check out that throwback gaming. I am Sam. That was Brent. This is David. We are Grown A Geeks. We appreciate you hanging out with us, and we are out of here. Peace.
Sucks.